We started off in the Underhive, and we went up through the elevator. Well, no, sorry. Before we got to the elevator, we were attacked and mugged. Guy ran away, got saved by a chicken. Found out a little bit later that that's presumably the leader of the Tomahawk gang. I believe they were. Were they the Tomahawks? Apaches. Sorry.
Apaches.
I'm doing this off the top of my head. Close though. So then we went up in the elevator. We were attempted to be mugged by a couple of guys and a chicken. The chicken was the owner of the leader of the Apaches, and it's his trusty pet, but it flew away. Caca. Then we went on. Arbites gave us a lift. We gave our love slave to the Arbites, and they're now detaining him. Went to the last known coordinates of the Inquisitor, where we had a snoop around, ascertained that his weapon was left there as well as his Imperial seal, but there's no actual signs of where he went to. And then another Inquisitor popped out of the sort of the shadows, nearly got shot by OLED, and now we're following her out, and she's burnt the place to a crisp.
Okay, so as you guys are walking out of the building, she turns towards you, Thaddeus, and she tells you the following. I'm afraid Mistrelli belongs to one of the largest families in the Hive, the family Yandrin. And if you want, you can make a scholastic check to figure out some more information.
I will indeed. Is there any particular keywords relating to chaos involved? Or
no.
Shame.
So you know that the noble house Yandrin specializes in giving security to the other houses, and they think that duty and pride is above everything else, and they are the biggest supporter of the local planetary defense force and take great pride in sending out guard regiments. So they're heavily guarded. They're known for lending their help everywhere, even for dirty money. That's how they most likely survive. And that's about all the information you can get off on the top of it.
I'd like to respond to her and ask, and what exactly is Mistrelli's role within this organization? What is his rank and position?
Within which organization?
Within this family as such.
He's a family member and a brother to one of the heads of the family, Martello Yandrin.
Okay.
Now, he has sworn, and I'm speaking about Mistrelli here, he has sworn to protect the planet against all heresy, but he could not ultimately protect himself, considering his actions. Such a move is unsupported by the Caligari Conclave, and attacking Hector is a grave mistake, and even more so, he's affiliated with one of the cults here. I assume you know who I'm talking about. The Cult of the Infinite Gaze. Yeah. Now, I will have you do something interesting. How good are you with moving surreptitiously?
It depends on our physical state. Right now, we're heavily wounded, and moving cautiously while limping is going to be somewhat difficult.
I will have you rest and do this another day, because the fate of the Imperium, not the fate of the Imperium, but this planet resides on your whole performance. Now, I will have you go to the Aandrin family fortress, located in the top quarter of the Hive, and the job there, you will borrow Martello Aandrin and bring him to the cemetery located here. And she hands you over a data pad with coordinates. Spread some rumors along the way and make sure to keep him hidden from sight at all times, and make sure not to raise too much suspicion. And don't hurt him too much, and most importantly, make sure he doesn't die. Considering the Aandrin family has ties, their fortress will be enforced to the core. They entertain the idea that looms over you at all times.
Do you have anything to assist us with this? Perhaps tranquilizers of sorts?
I will prepare a set of tranquilizers for you to use.
Excellent.
Good call.
Do you have a floor plan so we know somewhere where he is? Or
good question. You might as well go to the Archivum, and she points you a location which is on the high section of the higher court of the Hive, and she tells you it's currently closed off, but I'm pretty sure you can convince the Archdeacon there to open his arms to you.
Okay. Okay. So just as a recap, we're going to the top quarter of the hive. The gentleman we're after is Eandrin.
Martello Eandrin.
Martello Eandrin. And do we have a rough idea as to the personnel and size of this establishment?
She tells you that considering the infamy, or not infamy, but the fame of what the Eandrin house is known for, it's gonna be pretty much armed to the core. She recalls that they are, how would I call it? Like, it's heavily guarded. It has all sorts of fancy security devices, and it's how would I call it? It has like those like mounted sentry guns.
Indeed. Finally, one last question, and presumably they will be aware of our identities. Do you suspect? Would they recognize us if they saw us?
Approach any way you want. You have Hector's rosette, right?
Indeed.
Yeah, use it to your advantage if you want. Though I will not in any way influence how you do this.
I'll beckon the others over at this point, and I'd like to approach Ernak and ask, have you had any dealings with this family yourself? Done any trade? Do you have any connections to them?
I had some contact with them, but haven't actually done any tradings with them. I can still try to gather some more information. Need to contact my guy on the ship to see if we have any info about the current connections with this house.
Okay.
If you want, you can make a scholastic check.
No, I don't want.
So if we gather everyone round at this point, so we're faced with two potential options here. Stealth, in which case we break into the building. Of course, we'll need floor plans to decide on such a strategy. Or potential deception. Perhaps we can lure them into a trading arrangement with the leader and use that as an opportunity to dispatch him or render him unconscious and take him back.
Stealth is my forte, but I doubt that I could infiltrate a fortress all by myself. And due to Brother Carter's nature, it's very unlikely he's going to get unnoticed past the gates. Also, since we have planned till tomorrow, I suggest we first get a room for resting up and then start organizing ourselves.
Okay.
Maintenance to key and so on.
I have one more question if I turn to the Inquisitor. Now, from my understanding, Mistrelli was the one who fed information leading to my capture down in the Underhive.
That is correct.
Are they, or is Mistrelli closely associated to this individual? Do you feel, or is it probable that the name Hector Oros will raise alarm bells? Are they suspected of a close affiliation?
Well, Martello is the brother of Mistrelli. But see how it goes. Go in if you want to go the inquisitorial way. Ask for an inspection, check everything they have. And if you notice Martello showing any weird signs, bring him in.
Okay. So may I just clarify as to whether Martello is suspected of being associated with the same heretical dealings, or are we just using him for information?
Considering they're brothers, it's open to interpretation.
Okay.
I wouldn't go as suggest that he might be involved, but he might know something, considering they're brothers.
Okay. So, gathering everyone round and taking a few moments, might I suggest the plan that we approach the Archivum, achieve and obtain a map of the area and vicinity, Enrak, perhaps if you're able to reach your contacts and organise some form of trading arrangement, and this I presume will need to be something of importance, so that Martello will want to attend this personally. Hopefully, with your family's prestige, that will be enough to arrange such an arrangement, and we will hope that he doesn't come with too much of an entourage.
We could always try to lure him into the Underhive by some means of maybe an artifact or something, because that would as well suggest a heavier patrol, but also give us the edge of ambush.
So we should be safe as long as we don't go back into the Underhive too much. If we can get him out of the building, that's going to be beneficial, but it's going to be difficult to make him leave a well-fortified fortress, especially to go somewhere as dangerous as the Underhive. So let's perhaps first survey the floor plan and see what information Enrak can get from his ship, and if there is opportunity, perhaps even we could invite him to a shuttle to take him to Enrak's ship to discuss trade. Perhaps that will be an option. I'll motion to the Inquisitor one last time and say, is it essential that we survey the building and structure that he was in, or is it enough simply to lure him to us?
Not really.
So,
the building isn't important. It's the important person is Martello. I have special plans for him.
Okay, indeed. Perhaps then, if Enrak is able to organise a personal transport for the individual, he could, of course, bring an entourage of his own. Otherwise, it would raise too many suspicions. It won't be too much trouble to dispatch of a few bodyguards and leave them in an alley somewhere. Perhaps that's a plan to go forward, and I might suggest we try and get the floor plans of the building should this arrangement fall through.
If we go into the fortress, I suggest the only way is stealth. Due to if he's associated with the cult, he will be on edge if an Inquisitor shows up on his doorstep.
True, but it will be difficult for two people in power armor to be stealthy and to abduct an individual from a fortified fortress without raising alarm bells. So perhaps let us try the Enrak's resources first, and then if that fails, we can discuss the next plan of action.
I'll contact Lucas, Scotty Walker, while we are relaxing and getting ourselves healed up.
Very well. So you plan to rest first, right?
First find a room, like...
That's doable. That's doable. So no skill checks, no nothing. Let me just get the rules for resting. So it's currently 9 p.m., like nighttime.
Sounds appropriate.
Okay.
So it's basically a full heal.
Yeah, it's a full heal. So you find the nearest, let's call it a tavern. Let's see. Call the tavern Cloten Blood. And it's nothing too special. It's just a simple raggedy inn, but everybody is looking to you weirdly in the sense of what the fuck is a large ass space marine doing here.
Thaddeus, I just suggest you get us a room fast, and I already move up the stairs.
This place, it's interesting.
Indeed, I won't draw any extra attention by announcing the name and purpose. Just let the people gossip.
You get a simple room. You go there, you rest. Chatman, how do you contact Luke Scotty Walker?
Lucas.
You'd need a Vox, presumably, which is more like 15 to 20 kilometers, and then that would be to like a relay station that might be able to, for long distance communication, it would be difficult, but presumably you have like a shuttle on the ground that's brought you down.
Yeah, he has a shuttle.
Okay, so I walk to the shuttle and talk to my guy from the shuttle, because people are edgy and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. So you go over to your shuttle, and Scotty's quick there to receive you. Ernak, sir. Lucas Scotty Walker reporting.
I need information about our former trades with this family that we are trying to infiltrate or hijack. So yeah, one thing I wanted to ask before I left for this while we were resting is what kind of trade should we offer to not make it too suspicious? Because if I just say, okay, here we have 10 artifacts, you should have them for free, that will make him suspicious. But
let me just firstly help you out with the previous history. So you've been trading with weapons with them, like arming them with weapons, but after the whole planet got shot off trade routes and everything, it's kind of scarce. Like, weapon is quite the scarce thing to find,
so
unless you have the right connections, that is.
this is simple.
Valuable commodity then. Good stuff.
Yeah.
My question has been answered. Thank you very much. Then I shall tell Lucas Scotty Walker to set up, try to arrange a trade with said family, and it should happen tomorrow.
Yes.
On my ship. He can bring his guards with him to feel safer. And I'm gonna, after I tell him this, I'm gonna go back to the inn and tell the guys that we should head for my ship to prepare for the ambush or how we will handle this.
So everybody restore your wounds, shock, everything back to max.
I'm going to, while we're resting, I'm going to ask Carthus to just enlighten me with some of the battlefield knowledge he had over the years. I asked him for the story how he lost his arm.
Oh, that's a very interesting question. It's time I don't often like to remember because that's when my mentor was killed. I was defending a hive planet. The name escapes me every now and then, and came across a group of civilians under attack by orcs. One of them, in particular, was an orc nob. Well, yeah, we were defending civilians from a group of orcs, and said nob.
Other classes, please forgive me, but what exactly is an orc?
You've never fought one?
No, I
How do you not know what it is?
I only fought the ruinous powers till now.
Ah, so you fought our traitorous brethren then?
Yes.
I see. God, yeah. I haven't fought them personally myself, but I've heard stories. Anyway, an orc is big, green, horrible thing to look at, and a challenge even for someone such as myself, depending on the orc. And an orc nob could be looked at as one of our sergeants, the Space Marine sergeant, such as my mentor was. Well, the equivalent. This orc, he killed my mentor and chopped off my arm with his power claw. And I present my robot arm. Like, just do that. And with power, my mentor's power axe, it was on the floor. Yeah, with a bit of savagery, I just hacked him to pieces until a Death Watch kill team arrived as reinforcements.
Your sergeant died a glorious death for the Emperor.
Yes, and well,
I'm just going to go back to maintenance my sniper rifle.
Okay, so you guys enjoy a pleasant conversation and everybody rests. Now, since Space Marines require less food to maintain, but for the sake of everything, let's just say everybody consumes one ration pack. So you wake up, you eat, everybody cross off one ration pack.
We had 3, right?
Yes, everybody had 3. So let's continue on. So as you wake up, Scotty Walker informs you that he wasn't able to organize a trade on his on the ship because His Holiness Martello Yandrin himself isn't able to attend. So he rather organized it inside of the Martello fortress.
Well.
This is going to be interesting.
What time is this arranged for?
Considering he's having his beauty sleep right now, this would be organized for 12.
Midday, yeah?
Yeah, 12 midday,
Okay.
yeah.
So first port of call is to go to the Archivum and establish a floor plan of the area. Do we know which room we're expected to go to when we get there, or do we have any details of the arrangement?
As soon as you arrive, somebody will be there to greet you. But have in mind, it will be there to greet Ernak, not the rest of you.
Indeed.
So we need a back entrance, probably through the sewer system. And if I got this right, a normal fortress is also defended heavily underground.
Well,
Yes,
it
this
wouldn't
will
be
a
unusual.
challenge.
It wouldn't be unusual
Well-
for a rogue trader to have bodyguards of sorts. It's provided we can.
Space Marines are a bit out of.
The
line.
galaxy is in a poor state right now, and Ernrak is of a
Poor
notable
state.
reputation. So I still feel we have either the option of disguise or infiltration. I would recommend we do not split up, though. It may be risky to have to approach the party on two fronts, but perhaps the floor plan will help decide which course of action is more appropriate.
In any way, we need a floor plan because even if the trade and our capture of the individual is successful, we still need an escape route.
Indeed. So with that, we'll move to the Archivum.
All right. So with the transportation you were handed from the Arbites, it takes you about 30 minutes to reach the Archivum. And give me 1 second. So as you arrive towards the Archivum, the building is this massive spire spanning approximately 200 meters, decorated with Gothic archways of gold and rockreed. And you notice its entrance has a bridge and a waterway, sort of like a moat. And it seems that there are like a couple of combat servitors stationed there, keeping guard. And a couple being 5 of them. What do you guys do?
Thaddeus, I suggest you first approach.
Indeed. They shouldn't hold back from the reach of the Inquisition. And I'll simply approach at a reasonable, non-aggressive pace.
Very well. So as soon as you approach, you can you slowly like scan the servitors, and you can see they have these large blades on them, like implanted mono blades. And it seems that they aren't wearing any armor, but you notice that they're sort of wearing this subdermal armor.
Okay, are they
You can
aware
notice
of my
bits and
presence?
Yes,
Are
they
they-
are aware of presence, but they don't. You still you still haven't crossed over to the bridge or gotten too close to them. So, do you want to get closer to them or hail from a distance?
I would go within to a conversation's reach, to the point where I can speak to them. So a fair few meters, and instruct them that I am here to see or gain entrance to the establishment.
So, as you approach, they immediately raise their mono blades. They don't seem to be like any sort of aggressive, and they just all of them let out at the same time. Halt. Entry to the Archivum is prohibited today, or for that matter, any day. Move away.
Well, this seems like a good opportunity to present them with the inquisitorial seal of Hector Oros. Now, I know they're half brain-dead zombies, but one would presume they would be familiar somewhat with the ranks of the Inquisition. So I'm going to instruct them, I am here under the orders of Hector Oros, and I need access to this building. You will stand down and respect our authority.
And one of them moves closer and scans. It seems like as if it's scanning the inquisitorial seal. After like about a minute of processing, sort of commands everybody else to lower their weapons. And he turns towards you and says, "Please be patient." And he sort of walks inside the archivum. And shortly after, this large order man comes outside. He is handling this Imperium insignia walking stick. Not a walking stick, but you get what I mean, like a staff with an Imperium insignia on it. As he uses it as a walking stick. And as he walks out, like, he looks over at you and, "What in holy terror is happening here? Identify yourself."
My name is Thaddeus. This is Ernak of House. I'll nudge you to introduce yourself. We are here to gain access to the archivum. We require floor plans of a nearby building, and we seek your help.
My name is Archdeacon Procopius Hackinson, and I was instated here to foresee and guard this holy place by Breg Fletchstein. But whatever the reason, I cannot allow you inside. It has been shut off until the planet is reinstated into normal function.
Are you here to tell me that you are saying no to the Inquisition? Our reach is not simply barred because an area is under maintenance.
It is not under maintenance. Do not assume this place is under maintenance, Inquisitor Thaddeus. And it's simply orders of Breg Fletchstein.
I'm going to... How far away am I at this point? We're within a few meters?
He's close to you.
Okay. I'm going to step up to him and say, "We will be entering this building one way or another. I would suggest you stand down at this point. For your own safety, you are doing the Emperor's work, but I am doing something more important."
He sort of grabs his staff and slams it onto the ground, and all of the servitors sort of raise their hands. And he tells you, "Thaddeus, please. We are all servants of the Emperor, but I would not have you attack me."
Okay. I'm going to psychically command him to simply mutter the words, all right, come in," and to walk inside.
Roll a check. Ooh.
That's a yes.
We
And
get a glory from
Yeah.
yeah, we do.
Yeah. Bank 1 glory. Now, does he need to oppose it with something?
Yeah, he can oppose it with a willpower check, but he won't pass.
Yeah. Okay. So, as you immediately speak that, like, you assume a more, how would I call it? Like a more upwards, like you motion your body upwards and sort of put your foot down in a more commanding manner. And the words sort of make a ring in his ears.
I can give him simple commands, so this is going to last a few seconds until we get inside.
Okay, so at the moment, like he says, like he sort of twitches, like, "Yes, please, Thaddeus, enter the archivum." And he sort of like motions you to, even though it looks like he's trying to break free, like he motions you to come in.
I'm going to motion to the others and say, quickly. And as we walk inside, I'm going to turn to our beloved scout and say, "Yarius, are you able to tranquilize him quickly?"
I can put him in a chokehold. I don't have to tranquilize darts yet. So I'm just going to put him into a chokehold and try to not let the servitor see that.
Roll stealth. Which was it?
I'm going to use my chameleon cloak to like throw over him and then do that.
Roll stealth. Should be.
So this is just as we're going through the door.
Yeah, and he's walking with you, so Jarius would be able to do this. Okay. You successfully like managed to put him in a chokehold. The servitors don't notice you, and as soon as you walk inside, you can notice like 10 more servitors, but they still haven't noticed you, and they haven't noticed you putting the chokehold.
Is he unconscious yet?
Yeah, he's unconscious.
Okay.
He's an old man.
Yeah.
I'm just going to. Thaddeus, what should I do with the body?
Is there anywhere we can place him that is out of sight? A cupboard
you
or...
can see like lots of like not bookshelves, but you know those like large things with data on them, whatnot.
Yeah.
So you can hide him in between two of those.
Okay.
I'm going to drag him between those and leave my chameleon cloak active upon him.
I will be tearing one of his sleeves off, using a portion of it to tie around his face to form a gag, and the other part to bind his hands behind his back.
Okay. So as you as you do that, like you spend a moment to notice this wonderful architecture inside, golden archways of ferrocrete. Everything so neatly placed everywhere, like documents upon mounds of documents. What do you guys do?
I suggest we start searching for the plans to the area. I'm not familiar particularly with the workings of such places, as I often have difficulty reading with my eyesight. Perhaps you can all assist me.
I was in the chapter lab area. There was always a servitor showing you around where the specific books are. Maybe there's also one here. I would.
A good idea.
Finding that one.
Roll an awareness check. Difficulty number 3. No glory.
Everyone, or just me?
Just
you can roll it. You'll be fine.
Fails.
Famous last words.
Yeah, he says before a critical to fail, he wakes up again. Okay, no.
Now, you take a look around and you find one servitor sort of hunched over, and it seems as if he's writing something down on a cogitator. And he's like inscribing information on the cogitator. You can like see mounds and mounds of information being written at a time.
Thaddeus, I'm just going to point to him. And while that's happening, I'm moving to Carthus and just tell him, let them do the work. We'll watch the body, and just going back to the body of the Archdeacon.
Okay, so
Pretty well.
I'll approach the servitor at this point and say, in a hearty manner, "Greetings. We require your assistance today finding the floor plans of the establishment belonging to Martello Leandrin. Are you able to assist us?"
Processing information about Martello Leandrin. Please hold. And he sort of starts clanging on the cogitator with extreme speed, and he pulls up the large amount of information like birth certificates, records, and whatnot.
Is he able to provide us a printed hard copy?
He requests that you hand him over a data pad to transfer the information over.
Does anyone have a data pad with us? Would one presume that...
I'm just going to... I presume I hear that over the committee and it's not too far away.
Yeah, you can hear
we're
it.
on microbeats.
Can I just pull one of the data slates out of the like racks, delete the data and give it to him? Done.
Okay, so you quickly take something, you delete some sort of information, but you're not aware what it is, and you could care less of what you just removed.
It's something we needed.
It's the only one.
Yeah, and you quickly bring it over, and you give the data pad over to Thaddeus.
I'll say to him, good thinking, and pass it to the servitor.
Yeah. And he quickly transcribes the floor plans onto your data pad.
Are we also able to ascertain personnel of the establishment and other information of, say, the underground, if there is sewage lines and things of that nature?
Those records, like the servitor tells you that those records have been deleted.
Right.
While looking at the floor plans, I'm going to ask Sadius, you may want to inquire why this thing was on lockdown so hard.
Indeed, I am curious. It's unusual for an individual to be this stubborn toward the Inquisition. I am curious. Perhaps we'll pay our sleeping friend a visit on the way back.
Brother Cassius and I'm watching him right now. Is he conscious again?
Yeah, let's just call it. He's conscious again. He wakes up and the whole process of pulling up information takes up 1 hour. Scanning the information, reading the whole floor plan. So all in all, takes about an hour. And after an hour, the Archdeacon wakes up, and immediately he wakes up like, what? In holy terror!
While they are pulling out the information, I want to look for a place where we can interrogate him without any other servitors watching.
You can interrogate him there on the spot, like no servitors.
Okay.
He's currently muffled at the moment, so I might suggest not removing the restraint from him. If he screams, then we have a bunch of servitors we're going to have to be dealing with.
Brother Casus, I know it's not glorious, but could you just provide cover for us? Just stand in front of this.
Can I walk over and join them?
You're doing the
I will walk over and join you, and I'm just going to lean over and say, I'm sorry, dear sir, for the inconvenience, but you do understand we do have the authority here, and you were being insolent. Now, do I have agreement that when I remove this gag, you will not make a noise? And how does he respond?
He responds with
He's got a gag in his mouth. Okay.
Yeah, he responds with
okay.
I'm just going to pull out my sniper just for being safe.
And
for someone at close. Okay.
No, okay, my bolt pistol and my combat knife.
I'm just going to make sure by saying to him, you do understand disobeying the word of an inquisitor makes you a heretic. And I can do as I please with heretics.
And he sort of he's almost shitting in his pants. Like, you can see the fear and unspoken fear in his eyes, and he's slowly.
Okay. Now, I'm going to just pull down the... I'm going to pull down the... No, actually, I'm going to ask for the help here of Carthus and say, Carthus, are you able to assist me with this?
Very well.
I'm going to pick up my cloak again and put it on and just stand there where Carthus was standing, trying to block out as much as I can.
So what am I assisting with?
Perhaps you can hold this gentleman, and if he shows signs that perhaps his lungs are expanding and he feels compelled to expel a large amount of air, you could quickly crush his ribs before he's able to do so.
Yes.
So I'm thinking have a brace of him side by side, so you're literally squeezing his rib cage a little bit. And if he goes to make a big puff in, you just squeeze.
Certainly.
Indeed. So I'll pull down the little muzzle from him at the moment. So tell me, why has the entrance here been barred? And make it interesting.
And he sort of starts please, Inquisitor. Don't erase my bloodline. My brother Ezekiel, he's been faithful to the Emperor, and I've been doing his work. Also, it's under orders from Breg himself. He doesn't want the Archivum destroyed. You know this. The whole planet is gone to shit. And I wouldn't want to go against the planetary governor, let alone an Inquisitor. So please, we'll never speak of this. Just don't kill my family. Don't erase my bloodline.
I'm going to just ask him his name again.
Procopius.
Procopius. I won't be needing the latter 3 or 4 names. Procopius, me and you are now friends. I'll be requiring your assistance from time to time. I will drop by and pay you a visit. I will do you no harm, but you will allow me entrance, and well, next time I might even have a bottle of Amasec for you.
Thanks, Thaddeus, but I do not drink.
You will. You will. You do now.
Man. You will drink.
He sort of looks at you like baffled. He doesn't have anything to say to reply to that.
Okay. So we have the floor plan. We're going to... I'm still slightly uneasy of having all these combat servitors, so I'm going to allow him to slowly wriggle free after loosening the knot and suggest we hurriedly move away. And once outside of the sort of immediate vicinity, just hubble up and converse about this floor plan.
Okay, so he wiggles out, and he sort of thanks you for not exterminating his whole bloodline because of this. As you slowly move outside, Thaddeus, you can hear your hammer speak to you, and only Thaddeus can hear this. And
soon, Thaddeus. Soon it will be all revealed to you. The gaze.
Hush your whisperings. Hush your whisperings, demon. I bound you and I know your trickery. What scheme do you have planned for me?
Soon after he finishes whispering those things into you, a sort of wild amount of pictures and thoughts start to invade your mind, and I want you to make me a willpower check, difficulty number 5.
That would be a 10. No, that would be a 3. I was looking at the wrong one. I'm going to use a wrath point. Fuck it.
Okay.
So I'm going to do 4 rerolls, and we're going to end up with only 4.
Were you born with? Never mind. So these sort of wild thoughts coming toward... Yeah, wild thoughts.
Oh, yes! Here, sick daddy! Daddy!
Be gone, thoughts!
Yeah. Yeah. So these wild thoughts and imageries of like you being at this sort of cemetery and your inquisitor is waiting there for you. So these sort of thought... I'm not saying it! Visual imageries invade head, and at which point you fail your willpower, and you get 1 corruption, as the sight of these images is too much to bear. Like you see yourself with the questioning Martello, and you see yourself handling this sort of electrical whip and like whipping Martello.
I have the whip, do I?
Yeah, you have the whip, and soon after, like it sort of switches to this otherworldly sort of view, which sort of baffles you. You have no idea what it is, and you can see a weird shape falling downwards. Like you can see a shape falling downwards, and it seems to be headed towards a planet. You don't recognize anything of this.
Curious. And Hector Oros was in this vision at the cemetery.
No. Your Inquisitor. I meant by
the lady.
Estia, sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. I am going to pause for a few seconds, holding my head while this happens. I hopefully was a few feet away and stumbled away from the group as I started talking to myself. I'll take a few moments to gather myself and shake my head a few times, and I'll respond to the hammer and say, enough of your trickeries, thing. You are here to crush and nothing else.
I'm going to stop and look over to him, Inquisitor. Everything alright?
I'm not sure at this point. Either the warp has spoken to me or something else has, but
You get a very worried look from me.
at this point in time, I'm not sure what this means, so I will... we shall wait and see. It appeared to be a vision of sorts, but I cannot tell if this was of holy or unholy origin, so I do not trust it currently. We shall proceed. And no word of this to any others.
Very well, sir.
Now, we have a floor plan here with us, and examining it, one would appear that we enter through the deck at the bottom right. Is that safe to...
Yeah. Let me just scribbly pin them in. Okay.
Just in case there's like heaps of text and we lose it.
Let me just open it and tell you. So this is like let me explain the floor plans to you. So but you can see that there are places for 2 garages outside, if I'm not mistaken. You can see some wild floor decorations, like it has a sort of like an imperial Aquila-shaped pattern, the whole garden. And 5 garages in total of the outside, and you can see that the whole outside is encased by walls, sort of to ward of soliciting of any kind.
These walls are of some height?
Yes.
They would visually obscure anyone walking around on the ground floor?
Yes.
Okay. And
they do have a gate, so you can presumably you can look through the gate.
Okay. So, looking at the establishment, let's all gather round. So, we have 2 options. We have a meeting arranged with this gentleman. We can either attend said meeting and attempt to smuggle him out. This may be difficult. We may need distractions or some tools in order to achieve this. Alternatively, we can perhaps stealthily sneak into his bedroom, his preparation room, and sort of subdue him. We have options at this point.
Question: does the plan, sir? Does the plan say out of what material the walls are?
You take a glance, and the fortress is made out of rockreed.
Nothing an Astartes can't walk through.
Yeah,
but
I just am turn other casters. If we need to go out in a straight line, I know you are able to do the job.
remember, stealth is of importance here. I would perhaps suggest we take the least violent route, attend the meeting.
We are the forces of the righteous emperor. We do not abide by any rules.
We are, but the higher up ranking within the forces of the Holy Emperor have told us that subtlety would be appreciated, and although I don't know this Inquisitor very well yet, I don't want to piss her off on our first day. So,
I agree, but the problem with stealth Inquisitor is I sort of just gestured to myself. I will try my best in the state that I am and only use my talents when necessary.
Here is a suggestion. I may be able to command him for long enough to simply join us in a vehicle parked in the garage, at which point we can all go for a leisurely drive and hopefully tranquilize him en route. And on that note, what's the arrangements we have with picking up these tranquilizers? Did the Inquisitor give us some... We have them. Okay. So at that point, I'll say, Yaris, at the moment here we are somewhere perhaps secure. We can detain him, tranquilize him, and neutralize him. But I feel it may be the safest to engage him within the meeting and then simply ask him to step outside with us. We
And we
should
just
be
say-
able to simply drive away from him, drive out of the building. We have enough so that I can force him to instruct the guards to stand down so things do not stand out. But perhaps we may need to hide the body if needs be.
Well, so shall we begin? Or
What is our plan? Because we just discussed options, but we didn't decide on.
My
Anak, it's your call. I would suggest, since your reputation is on the line.
I'd like to take him alive, well, awake, out of there in a car if possible. So it seems, let's call it normal, like our Inquisitor suggested. But if not possible, then I'm fine with anything else. I mean,
Okay, we'll proceed with the suggested then. So we'll attend the meeting. We will influence him to the point he will want to leave with us. A simple explanation of wanting to examine the weapons off-site or to perform some further meetings of sorts, or even to take us to dinner to his favourite establishment. Any number of deceptions should work, in which case we can leave the establishment and all should be well.
Very well.
you need him in 5-meter range, right?
5 meters, and I can only instruct him for one action at a time, but once he has instructed the guards as to what he is doing, we can put him in a vehicle and simply knock him out.
Okay, so my job here is to persuade him to come close enough so you can tell him what to do, and then we are out.
Exactly. We'll be attending the meeting. You will be the front man at this point. I'll be hiding. I will not be demonstrating any clear Inquisition or insignia at this point, but we will simply be your entourage, your bodyguards.
Okay.
I will have my hood slightly pulled up at this point, and
When exactly should I administer the syringe? In the car or after we went past the gates?
a good question. Let us see if I can maintain control over him. If not, it may need to be before, but hopefully after.
Can I gather from the syringes how long they will knock him out?
For an hour.
Okay, he will be cold for an hour, so yes.
That should do. That should do.
So you will be doing the official trade route establishing thing plan, correct? Okay, so you wait for some time to pass until 12 comes along. Everybody gets in their positions. So everybody will be like bodyguards to Ernak, right?
Yeah, and I take my chameleon cloak back,
Okay.
seeing that it just looks comical on him.
Okay, do you cover yourself with any garbs, considering one is in a green spacesuit of armor and he's pretty ashy?
No need for
Or will you just like out front, just like that, introduce yourself?
it. It's okay the way it is.
I will have
Okay.
robes just draped over me, over my head. I'll have the sort of a shaded portion of the face showing, but I'll have robes over my flak armor.
Okay, fair enough. So as you approach, firstly, Ernak is driving the main truck. So you can see like out as you're approaching the fortress, like you can see outside these gun batteries and all sorts of security devices adorning the walls around the fortress, and inside of the fortress you can see a platoon of soldiers, or more easy 25 men exactly, just patrolling around, making sure everything's all right. The fortress is made out of rockreed, and you can notice the exterior design sort of resembles it as a sort of a military base, and you can see the sunlight, or well, not sunlight, but the glow globes around the hive, enhancing the grandeur of the fortress. and there are also all sorts of floor decorations are present. And for a hive world, such a garden is like a rare, tranquil sight. As you're moving inside, you can notice a couple of garages which have luxurious vehicles, and you can see that inside there are also 2 large Goliath trucks present. Now, as you move forward, you start unloading. Like in the middle, there's a sort of like a special area in the garden for unloading and whatnot. As you sort of unload, you can see one man approach you with extremely large whiskers, head shaved. It seems like as if though he's a butler. And as he moves closer, Ernak, it is you! It is good to see you, my friend.
Hello, my friend. I didn't catch his name.
It is good to see you. What do you have in store for me? I am so sorry, by the way, I have to tell you. His Majesty could not attend this deal himself personally. But it is okay. I am here.
Well, Paulus, that is sad news, but I was hoping to meet His Majesty finally. If it's not the case, then we will have to discuss this with you.
So what do you have for me? And you know you have a large amount of las guns and other deadly weaponry. Nothing too expensive though, but it's a decent haul.
I've brought you less guns, among other weapons.
Very good. May I see them?
Yes, of course. Let's open the crate.
Okay.
I'm going to
So
pull
you-
out a data pad, if I may, at this point, and just interject and say, but sire, we will require the signature of His Majesty in order to finalize the details of this transaction. We will need to see him.
And he overhears you and sort of, no, it is no problem. I can carry over that pad to him. He is inside the fortress. He is doing his business. I do not know.
I cannot give you the data pad, sir. This is sensitive information regarding Ernak's transactions.
Can I try to persuade my old friend to...
Yeah, roll a persuasion check, difficulty number 5.
And I would like to assist by saying, look, the arrangements are all made, everything is ready, all we need is his signature, and, it will all be done.
Yeah, let's just use that for skill checks. It's fine. Anyway, so you talk over with him. Says, His Majesty does not like to be disturbed, but knowing it is you, Ernak. Okay, come. You can bring your entourage with you. It is no problem.
Thank you, my friend.
So you walk over to the interior. Before you
Can I have a
walk,
question?
yes.
Where we unloaded the guns.
Mhm.
Is that close to the garage with the luxurious cars?
Yes.
Okay.
You cannot. The luxurious cars aren't as enticing to you as the Goliath trucks.
Yep.
So before you move over, like on the deck, you can notice 3 fancy Ferrocrete columns, and on them inscribed are various faces. And the large door in front of you has various insignias of the Anadrin family, which Ernak you can recognize. And the door is made from high quality wood. And on the deck there are 5 guardsmen. And before you move over, before you move over inside, Paulus hails them. Guys, please move away. Important business. Thank you. And the guardsmen just move aside without any issue. You move over inside the hallway, and it's filled with various paintings, furniture made from gleaming gold and silver. And it seems to be currently empty, and your echo can be heard, like large footsteps can be heard
Okay.
booming through the hallways. What?
I'm going to ask him, how far is it still?
He tells you, don't worry, he's in the He's sitting over. Just follow me. And you can notice, like, if somebody's handling the map right now, you're moving from the deck inside, going to the hall, moving left, going down into sitting 13, sitting 13 by 14, and then going left inside the master suite. And inside the master suite, like you can see Martello. He's wearing like these fine clothing. You can see these fine clothings. It seems as if the man, like, you know this man is Martello. Like, his looks don't lie.
Are there any other guards?
Yes. You can see that there are about 10 guardsmen inside.
Okay,
It's just standard protection. And as you walk inside, Paulus quickly just asks you to hold 1 minute outside to announce you to His Majesty Martello.
Okay. So we've got 1 minute to quickly have a little talk to each other here. Are we within earshot of anyone? Are we within earshot of anyone where we're waiting? Can anyone hear us?
There are 2 guardsmen in front of the door.
Right next to us, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, right next to you.
Okay. I will just turn to Ernak and say, perhaps after this business transaction, you might invite him to dinner, or we may invite him to that party.
We can do that. I was gonna ask him to show me his collection of luxurious cars, if that's possible.
Ah, I know you like cars. Excellent,
Yes.
sir. And I'll go back to scribbling on my data pad.
Okay. So as you took over that, the guardsmen are just like looking over at you ferociously with a sort of intense in a sort of intense manner.
I'm
Like,
going to stare back and build up myself.
Just don't
Okay.
pull your gun.
so after
Gotta
an
duck for cover.
intense staring contest between Jarius and the guardsman, Paulus quickly moves you to. And you can hear him, like, you can see this as he come over. Martello, I present you Ernak Hun, famous rogue trader, his family line. We've done business with him. You know him. It's Ernak. And the guy sort of, yes, quite. Please, sit yourself and give me 1 moment. And you can see him, like, quickly sort of handling some sort of documents in the room, and you can notice the room is this beautiful interior. Floors made from marble, furniture inscribed with golden insignias and whatnot. And I assume you take your seats.
Yes.
I'm going to stand back in the room, like not taking a seat within.
Yeah.
True, you'd
I'm
probably break
just
the
gonna
chair.
stand. I'll
Yeah,
probably
very
go to
well.
the seat as well.
You can notice, like, since you guys are standing, you can see, like, 5 guardsmen move more closer to you, and he sort of yes. What do I need to sign?
We have this little data pad that we need your signature on, just to confirm the trade.
And he sort of motions for somebody to come over.
I suppose I'll get it from our
From
Inquisitor and take it over, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So as you take it over, he quickly looks over, checks the data pad and the contents of the transaction, and very well. And he sort of he signs it, and he tells you, I will have someone transfer funds over to you.
Thank you, Your Majesty. I couldn't help but notice your amazing card collection outside in the garage, and as I say this, I will try to persuade him to to show us, make a tour of the garage. And would you mind maybe showing us each of those cars? Because I'm a huge collector myself, a fan of these luxurious cars. And what you had out in the garage, I've never seen such a thing.
Make a persuasion check, difficulty number 7.
May I interject to assist?
What do you do?
I'd like to say, indeed, sir, would you like me to pull up records of your own cars to make comparisons? Perhaps we can arrange a viewing of our own.
It's a very nice idea, if the Majesty himself is interested.
Okay. Firstly, make an assistance with give me a second.
Don't forget to look at your cards if you haven't already. There might be something useful.
Don't want to see my card.
Make a persuasion check at difficulty number 5.
Okay. Well, we
You
have
should
a
get
complication. I can shift 2 dice, though.
Yeah, okay. So here's as you say that, and I'm sure you'll be fine with this complication.
Mhm.
You can see Martello sort of get offended.
Curious.
Making the check difficult by +1. And he
Okay.
sort of stands up. Do you think you have a larger collection of cars than me, Ernak?
Oh no, Your Majesty, I would never even dare to think such a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's only 1 dice from me.
That's
Something
9.
is not right.
It's 9.
Yeah, okay. You succeed. And he's sort of calming down, like, as you tell him that, and he says, "Very well. I will pull aside 10 minutes of my valuable time and show you my car collection. You can compare and see, but you will not have a magnificent car collection as mine. Paulus, with me. Guardsman, with me as well.
How many guardsmen were there? If I
10.
peep around? 10 in the room at the moment.
Yes.
Yeah, 10 in the room, and all of them like walk out, and like as you're going through the hallways, like he sort of manages to explain almost all of his family's heritage, and detailing like, that is my dear brother Bekonen. He, unlike me, didn't have such a refined taste for cars.
Why
And
that's
over there you have Iago. He died while dealing with some underhive scum, and that was quite a sad death. Over there we have Mordax, Yandron. He was very famous for his skills with a weapon. You should have seen him. And what do you manage to say?
I'm just going to look to Carthus while walking. Why did our chapter do this to us?
What are you trying to imply with that?
I'm going to sigh like, why?
This is beneath you.
Yeah,
That sort of-
why do studies have to listen to this?
And after like a lengthy 15-minute walk, because Martello was adamant on you showing you everything alongside the hallways, you receive one shock from your headset. Just kidding. From your headset
I'm
hurting.
making just various facial expressions under my helmet.
Anyways, you reach over to the garage, and you can notice him showing you like this vast collection of hectons, and you can see them all like almost all of them made from gold. And
Question: How
Hmm.
far are the trucks from the Goliath trucks from the cars?
about 15 meters. The
Okay.
Goliath tracks. It's in the next garage, so about 10 meters.
And are we able to... are we in the garage at the moment?
Yes, you're in the garage. Like he's showing you these wonderful vehicles.
Which vehicles can I see that an Astartes would fit inside, or someone wearing
The-
power armor?
The
The
Goliath trucks.
And they're outside of the garage, or within?
No, they're inside the garage.
They're inside the garage. Okay, and we're currently in there with his buddy and 10 guards. Correct?
So Paulus, Martello, and 10 guards.
Okay. So that everyone's currently inspecting vehicles and waffling about them?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. I'm just going to turn to Yarius and give him a little nod and say, the moment we're alone, you may proceed.
I'm under the chameleon cloak. I'm going to prep like one of the syringes.
And I'd like to step up behind Martello at this point and approach him and Ernak. And as I do so, I would like to command a simple action to Martello. I'd like to get him to say out loud, I wish to go for a drive and show off my beautiful cars. Have the guards open the gates and leave us be. I'd like to be alone with these gentlemen.
Okay.
Which constitutes a simple action, so that will be my choice.
Make a roll.
I'm just
Perils of the Warp! So I've rolled 12, but it will happen. He will say this, but we also have Perils of the Warp.
Oh yeah, you can't reroll Perils of the Warp. Okay.
Yeah, you can't re-roll the one, but you can re-roll all the others.
Okay. So I was lazy to put in the Perils of the Warp deck, so just make a roll.
11 would have been a lot better.
Of rotting meat and decaying flesh seems to rise from the ground within 25 meters of the Psyker. All creatures within range must make a toughness test, including those protected by technological breathing apparatus. Those who fail suffer 1 shock.
Okay. I'm going to... we'll do the toughness test first, and then I'll explain the smell.
Okay.
I'm going to cough like crazy.
Okay, so everybody who failed receives 1 shock, but apparently the stench sort of makes the guardsmen, like, immediately everybody falls down to the ground, sort of choking and trying to grasp for air. And his assistant also passes out on the ground. Like, the putrid smell is too much for him to handle. But Martello seems to be unscathed. He's just coughing like, what is this smell?
He's dominated.
I'm just saying.
He can still act. I've given him an instruction. I'm going to just nod to Yarius.
Yeah, I'm just going to, in his neck, press it down, and then say to the Castle Scatters the Goliaths, or to Ernak, I'll say that.
Okay, so you tranquilize him successfully.
Can we fit 9 people in the back of one of these trucks?
Yes. Hold on. Let me send you the stat block.
I would suggest Astartes quickly load the bodies into the back of the Goliath truck, at which point the 2 of you will be posing as the bodyguards of this journey. We'll be placing the body of Martello Ledron within the front seat alongside Ernak. Ernak will be driving. I will be travelling in the back, puppeting his body while unconscious.
Very well, so Carthus,
Yep.
we
All right.
got our orders.
We don't want to be leaving 10 people behind to tell tales of the foul smells.
How many tranquil doses?
They're all out.
They're all knocked
Guards
out,
in the-
unconscious.
Yeah, they're all knocked out.
Okay,
we
Just only spent 1 charge for Martello Yandrin.
How many
Okay,
charges do we have,
yeah,
Yarius?
that's what I wanted to ask.
4 more.
Okay, 4 more. I'm going to give those for you. I'll presume a gunner position. You'll get those if anyone wakes up. Okay.
So is that okay? So if we can quickly start loading the bodies into the back of this.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. You quickly load up the bodies.
I presume the windows are blacked out. This is a sort of a military grade vehicle
The
of the back
Go
seats.
The Goliath truck or the
Yeah.
Hectons?
The back seats, the troop carrying capacity of the Goliath truck.
Oh no, they're completely armored.
Yeah, so okay, so we can shove them in the back and they'll be fine.
Yeah, they'll be fine.
So I'll let you decide between you, Ernak and Yarius, for who's driving and who's going to be sat in the back, keeping an eye on the deceased or the unconscious. So everyone
What's your
okay
pilot?
with the
No,
plan?
I'm driving the Goliath truck. You and Ernak are.
What's your pilot? Yeah. I assume your pilot is higher than 5.
Pilot is 9.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on the bodies.
Okay. So you guys quickly load up. You set up Martello, Paulus on the sides. Who's gonna be driving the? Who's gonna be driving the?
The fancy car.
Yeah, the fancy car.
I am
Ernak.
driving the fancy car.
Okay. So
And Martello's going to be in the front seat with him, and I'm going to be
Yeah.
sat behind Martello.
okay. Also, too, just so I know, how do you plan on controlling him?
I have something called Phantom Grip. I can summon 2 hands, and they are invisible, and I can use them to perform any action. So I'm going to be using one invisibly turning his head, and the other one to raise his arm up and down.
Okay. So you guys start up the vehicles. You don't need to make any pilot checks for this. You quickly go over to the gates, and you see there's a guardsman in there waiting for something. Like
I'm still
see,
giving.
Thaddeus, you assume he's waiting like for Martella to give him some sort of command
Yeah,
to open the gates.
I will puppet Martello's hands to wave a sort of a fairly dismissive wave toward them, as if to imply that he doesn't have time, or he's in a rush, or he's in a bad foul mood.
Okay, cast the.
Better fucking not perils again, you fucking cunt. Cunt!
More bad smells.
No, on the 4th seat of the car is now a Slaneshi demon saying hi.
So
Okay,
we've got
roll
another
2d6.
perils.
Yeah, another perils. Okay.
Oh
What
god.
happens?
The mystical energies of the warp wash over the Psyker and infuse the landscape for 25 meters in every direction. All creatures in the area suffer 1d3 shock. In addition, the invisible energies flowing through this area greatly increase the potency of psychic phenomena. One wrath die must be added to all psychic tests. So,
God damn it, more unconscious people.
everybody roll 1d3. Okay. So that's how much shock everybody suffers.
I'm just going to curse. You hear me over the like really cursing. What the hell is going on?
Yeah, and like the whole area around like sort of shifts to this pinkish horror area. This sight creeps you out completely, but after a while, like you can see the guardsman at the post like immediately pass out, like falling down to the ground. And he hits with his face, hits the alarms, and the whole building is now blaring like.
How I just going to pull up besides the luxury car, give like full speed and crash through the gate.
Is this a gate
Okay,
we can ram through?
Yeah. Firstly, Jarius, make a pilot check.
We'll just follow you if you ram through.
Difficulty number 3. Okay, so as you're prepping, you back up a little bit and you just smash through the gates opening. And Ernak, you follow him from behind. But after a while, you can notice two large scout sentinels following you.
I'm
and-
going to. Can I use the pilot skill check as well? That when I press through, let him drive past me, so I'm at the back.
Yeah. Anyways, initiative. Who goes first? You have Ernak operating the Hecton or the Goliath truck.
I'm gonna sort of perk out the back and attempt to throw a grenade first before I switch to a mounted weapon. A crack
Okay.
grenade.
What's the range on the?
40 meters.
Okay, yeah. You chuck the grenade over at one of the scout sentinels. Make a ballistic check. Do it with an increased difficulty of 1 because you're in the vehicle and you're trying to squeeze yourself out. That's enough successes. You can't actually you can shift over 1 for extra damage. That's a total of how much
damage is 14.
14.
That's the
Okay.
base damage plus the
4.
Base damage. Okay, so here's what happens. Like as you're as you chuck the grenade actually manages to land inside the scout sentinel. So it manages to go inside, and I want you to pull out a wrath card because you crit Crimson Ash. Let's see.
Can you increase the size of that?
Yeah, your attack sears into the foe, fusing flesh into charred ruin. The assault wreathes the target in burning fury, making a smoldering mess of sinew and bone. Target suffers plus 1d3 plus 1 wounds. Okay, so here's what happens. You chuck the grenade and it goes inside, exploding and like rendering a massive mess of blood, sinew, bones inside the scout sentinel. The scout sentinel sort of swerves over the path and crashes into the nearby building, setting itself on fire. I will have my go. Oh, firstly, Jarius, what do you do? Or do you follow just straight ahead?
I'm just trying to create a mess to just swirl around, create a mess so that the scout sentinels have a hard time following us.
Okay, make a pilot check, difficulty number 5. You manage to swerve, like your vehicle starts swerving to increase the difficulty, like in sort of an evasive manner. You have +1 defense. You have +1 defense, and you kind of swerve over with the vehicle, lowering your. You kind of swerve over too much, lowering your speed for the next turn by half. So that would be 6 meters movement, but that doesn't matter. You're just gonna be slower. Everybody. Oh yeah, sorry. Now, the other scout sentinel walks over and sort of is looking down to you and makes an attack with its multi-laser.
On the goal, yes.
On the Goliath truck, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It has 3 defense, so it hits. Rolling 2 extra dice for damage. That's 16 total damage.
That's 13 resilience, so 3.
Is that to
3
the
manages.
truck or to them?
To the Goliath truck.
Right.
So yeah, so 3 damage to the truck, and it has 15 wounds, so it's on 12.
Okay. Hecton drivers, what do you do?
Is this sentinel in the employment of this person?
Yes, and yes, it's from the Martello.
Do we have a sunroof?
No, it's open topped.
Open top. Excellent. I'm going to ask Ernak to... I'm going to say to him, perhaps we can use Martello to make this person stop chasing us.
That's a good idea.
So...
I've blown one up, so...
yeah, that's true. Okay. Would you mind slowing down a little bit, Ernak? Just to get us a little bit closer. Within 20 meters, let's say.
Yeah. You slow over the vehicle, you go back behind a little... and
I'll be right back.
What do you do?
I would like to use jam mechanism on the leg of the sentinel.
You sneaky fuck. Okay.
It is a mechanism.
Yeah, roll for perils of the world.
I need to roll another wrath dice now, don't I?
Yeah, no, you're quite past the area, so it was in the area
right.
behind, and that effect quickly passes.
Right.
So another psychic phenomena.
No,
Well,
Let's see.
we shall find out.
Everything tastes like cotton candy.
No.
How much successes do you need for jam mechanism? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so a total of 8. So I've jammed it, and it's jammed for about 5 minutes. So basically, one of the legs will start to stiffen at the joint and start to go limp. At this point, I'll allow you to decide whether it falls over or just sort of freezes on the spot.
The limb freezes over, but the vehicle is pulling itself with the one other leg. Okay, so never mind. Then it just stops.
It can be fixed via a tech use of the pilot in theory.
Yeah, but it's 5 minutes, so never mind. Anyway, so the thing it jams up behind you and just locks itself into place. Cannot move at all whatsoever. You quickly, as it stops, like you cruise 5 minutes without any oversight from any sort of personnel.
While that's happening, Carthus man a gun and look out for aircraft.
Yep. Wait, now that I think about it, what about the guys in the back of the truck?
They're still knocked unconscious, as much as you can see. If you want, you can perform a Medicaid check, difficulty number 3, to see what's happened to them.
Yeah, sure. Oh, yeah, just to see. Make sure they're not actually completely dead. Like, still breathing, at least. Yeah, no.
It takes you an extra time, but you notice all of them are dead.
Oh. Okay.
What do you mean with all of them are dead? It just smelled bad.
I just hop on the gun.
The session. Anyway, so after about an additional 5 minutes, like the whole thing is clear. It seems as if you guys are transporting a noble, considering the Hecton, and everybody's just allowing you to pass freely. And what do you guys do?
I'm going to combi.
Well, I assume we try and get to a landing pad so we can get the shuttle.
We're due to the cemetery with this individual for interrogation with the Inquisitor, so that would be the appropriate destination. How's everyone doing? Is everyone all right?
I'm going to combi over. This was way too easy.
It could have been easier. And the warp is a tricky phenomena, and it seems today was not a lucky day for us.
It seems you've inadvertently killed everyone in the back of this truck, Thaddeus.
If they were that weak, then they were heretics anyway.
Could it be that they were
sure, but they were men only doing their job.
Well, maybe they were warp controlled, and you trying to influence the warp just dissolve the connection.
To the graveyard.
Well, whatever happened to them, they are of a low rank, and we will see that they, well, hopefully, should he live, Martello will see that their families are amply rewarded for their deaths in duty, but we're currently serving a higher purpose.
Thaddeus, I know this is technically evidence, but can we keep the truck?
As it's the property of Martello Ledron, let's perhaps interrogate him with the Inquisitor and see what he thinks of that.
Okay. I like this as an operational vehicle.
Indeed, but the Inquisition can obtain such items without stealing them or hijacking them.
And of better quality.
Right.
Anyways, can we proceed? So, after the chase breaks off, you make your way as fast as you can to the coordinates of the cemetery. And over there you can find Inquisitor Estia just handling a shock whip in her hands, arm crossed, and sort of lying with her back against an archway. And she hails you. And as soon as you stop, you can notice that it has started to rain. And the conditions, like as you're walking, are ever so quickly changing, like getting rainier, windier. The intensity is increasing.
Unusually so? Is this just a normal storm, or is this something a bit more violent?
A normal storm, but to you it seems sort of unusual.
I'm going to nudge to Carthus and Yarius. What do you see up there? What's happening? I can't see the sky, so if you could enlighten
I
me.
look towards the sky
Yeah.
with my helmet on and
Yeah.
towards doohickeys.
Yeah, you look over and it just seems to be like a standard. It's standardly raining, not a toxic rain or any sort of that, but it's quite commonly unusual for these parts.
Mm.
No, it seems normal, sir, but well,
Mm. At this
it's a
point,
hype world.
I'm going to share with the others that this bears unusual resemblance to the vision I had earlier. Perhaps you may keep your eyes above us every now and again and have a glance on my behalf. I don't know if we're expecting company, invasion, or anything. It could simply be the trickeries of the warp, but humour me, please, and keep your eyes upwards.
Well, sir. Carthus, will you help me get rid of these bodies?
Yep.
Yeah, we can leave them in the Goliath for now.
Anyways,
We have more pressing matters. Let's have this scum interrogated. Potential scum at this point.
anyway, so you unload Martello. Do you guys like carry him over to Estia?
I'll allow one of the power armored people to do so.
Okay. There's nothing too enticing. Like as you glance over the cemetery, like there's nothing too enticing apart from it being just a standard cemetery where they bury like millions and billions of people. But this is more reserved to how would I call it?
Higher ups.
Yeah, royals, nobles. And you can see like most of the tombstones are engraved with gold and whatnot, other decorations to signify their family heritage. And you can see Estia is quite perched over an Eandrin, like a family area, and the archway is like a sort of like a commemoration of all the Eandrin family that were before them. But you can see on the archway there is sort of a it's been modified with shackles as to keep somebody up in an X shape, being held up midair.
I don't like the look of it.
Hmm.
Carthus, brother, have you ever seen something like this?
No, but I don't like the look of it either.
Thaddeus, with all due
Be
respect,
careful.
I do not trust this
Proceed.
woman.
But be careful.
How far away are we right now?
Let's say you're about 25 meters away from her, but she hails you.
Okay.
What do you guys do?
I'll allow them to tell me what they can see at that range. For that point at me, it's going to be a little bit hazy, so I'll ask them to clarify what they can see, and respond that this is unusual, to say the very least.
You can
Your
sense
eyes
you can
peeled.
sense like garden hedges, tombstones around you, and all the whatnots, but there's nothing out of place, if you will.
Okay. Let us see what this Inquisitor wants. So we'll approach cautiously, keeping wits about us.
So as you approach, finally Thaddeus, and she sort of peers over and looks to Martello and says, "Bravo, not a scratch." Now, and she points over to you, Carthus. Space Marine, do me the honor and clasp this man in on the archway.
May I
Very
ask
well.
what is happening here, Inquisitor? This does not seem of a Puritan disposition.
You'll see what we're doing soon enough. Are the medieval ways of torture unfamiliar to you?
Torture? By all
Yes,
means.
torture.
It seems an
Torture.
odd place. I'm used to the confines of a workplace and a tool bench and various equipment. And how very rustic.
See here. I will tell you one thing. Do you see that all of the graves here belong to the Andron family? Do they not?
Indeed.
Having him look over the whole graves will be such a gruesome sight. and the promise of him joining them soon enough will be quite the enticing offer, don't you think?
I'm going to just turn to Enrak for a second and say, you may have to wait a little while for that payment to be processed.
Yeah.
Apologies for the using your assets for such an endeavor, but
And you somehow have to fix your reputation.
That won't take such a great hit. It's okay.
at the moment we're fortunate enough that everyone's dead. Everyone in the house
I
is
mean, the
dead.
guard on the
Everyone in
Sentinel not only knows that someone's taken him.
Yeah, the Sentinel won't know who we are. Anyway,
Yeah.
as we were, good stuff.
She asks you, did you raise any sort of alarms or attention?
Yes. All the alarms. However, we were able to do so in a somewhat subtle manner. We were able to make our way to the gate, and currently, as far as they're aware, he is in good health, and he left the building. They do not know why the alarms were raised. They were simply raised. I would presume we send message back that it was an accident and misunderstanding. The Sentinel attacked us, and we had no choice but to retaliate. And anyone that says otherwise is confused and a liar.
All is well then. Since we have such little time, and she throws over the shock whip to you, she says, do you catch the whip?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And she says, finally, Thaddeus, let's begin. And at this point, I would like to end the session here.
Ooh, kinky.
Whippy.
Why did you catch it?
Why did I catch it?
Yeah.
We can take turns. I'm an interrogator right now.